Billionaire Bill Gates. He's coming for your eggs. And I'm not just talking about the kind that you eat for breakfast.
Avengers! Assemble.
So some online have made the connection with this recent egg crisis, let's call it. So articles like this one have become the norm lately. Why are eggs so expensive right now? And this was from just a few days ago. In one West Coast state, they're being sold for $7.37 per dozen. Exploding head emoji. And it goes on, while the situation is evolving by the day and varies in severity throughout the U.S., all signs point to the fact that we'll be shelling out more money per dozen in the coming weeks and months. And this part is classic. They'll go through the why is there an egg shortage question, and then we'll share egg substitute ideas for all of your cooking and baking needs. So you need not abandon all your favorite egg recipes. And their theories are anywhere from avian influenza to, that being said, avian flu isn't the only factor, according to experts at the American Egg Board. I guess that's a thing. They say that the cost of egg packaging materials, chicken feed impacted by the war in Ukraine isn't everything at this point, and fuel prices, which is an essential part of supply chain transport of eggs from farms to markets, are all higher as well, which adds to even more pennies to the price. And so some people on Twitter have made this connection to good old Billy Goat Gates. Now, this is a tweet from Gates, 2013, I believe. Lots of reasons to rethink how eggs fit into the #future of food. At HC Foods has created a lower cholesterol alternative. Isn't that just like Bill Gates, to just be completely absorbed with the general health and well-being of each and every one of us out here? And then in Gates notes, some exciting new companies are taking on this challenge. They are creating plant-based alternatives to chicken, ground beef, and even eggs. They're produced more sustainably and taste great. And another one here, I also tasted Beyond Eggs, Hampton Creek Foods egg substitute, which doesn't contain the high cholesterol of real eggs. Even though, as I've read, if you own your own chickens that produce their own eggs, the fresher you eat those chicken eggs, the less harmful cholesterol they contain. Not that that's as big a problem as they make it in this day and age, cholesterol, but, Bill Gates is a doctor and a scientist after all, so I guess we can't question his superior intelligence on this subject. And so from this article that I found from NPR, back in 2013, why Bill Gates is investing in chickenless eggs. And it goes on to discuss, quote, "We're trying to take the animal totally out of the equation." Josh Tetrick, founder and CEO of Hampton Creek Foods. Hampton Creek's egg substitute product is called Beyond Eggs. It's made from bits of ground-up peas, sorghum, and a few other ingredients. And it's attracting the attention of high-tech investors, including Bill Gates. Then I'll scroll further down. Investors like Bill Gates are betting that our planet can't sustain the current rate of growth in animal-based foods for too much longer. And here's a quote from Gates himself. "Raising meat takes a great deal of land and water, and has a substantial environmental impact." So isn't that just a coinkydink that the nation's current largest landowner, farmland owner at that, this happens to be Bill Gates? Is this how Bill Gates creates his artificial scarcity to monopolize markets, perhaps? Just a theory, speculating. Bill Gates, it might seem like he always comes out on top. He's ahead of the trend. It's almost like this guy has a crystal ball at this point, right? With the current aftermath of the COVID-19 pandemic, he was one of the billionaires who profited quite well. He came out quite well from all that, didn't he? And again, he had this crystal ball, once again, knowing that there would be a pandemic.
Today, the greatest risk of global catastrophe doesn't look like this. Instead, it looks like this. If anything kills over 10 million people in the next few decades, it's most likely to be a highly infectious virus rather than a war.
So I think there is a deeper underlying narrative here with Bill. I don't think you really need a crystal ball in order to predict future events when you are heavily invested in the corporate mainstream media. And like this article states from the Defender, conflict of interest, Bill Gates gave $319 million to major media outlets, documents reveal. This was from 2021. An interesting side note, one of those media companies that he donated to, The Atlantic, totally unrelated, by the way, off topic, recently put out this article from today, actually. Twitter has no answers for hashtag died suddenly. And so they're making the whole argument here that people need to be deplatformed like the good old days, right? For spreading what they call, well, dangerous anti-vax misinformation. So coincidentally, yes, Bill Gates also has dedicated quite a bit of money to The Atlantic. Let's see here. Just for that one news agency. And you can go through the long list here. NPR, of course, right? One that just wrote that article that I was talking about. Guardian, Der Spiegel, BBC, The Atlantic, 1.5 million. Al Jazeera, PBS, all the big boys, right? Lots and lots of money. If you add all these up, equals out to 319 million, according to this article. And so, it's easy to predict the future and to make, timely investments in, say, meat substitutes, egg substitutes, buy up farmland, and even manufacture news stories like this one to, support the cause. Quote, blood clots, compound found in eggs linked to an enhanced risk of blood clotting. That's right, guys. The food consumed from the dawn of civilization. Who would have thunk that it's not as well-balanced and nutritious and wholesome as Bill Gates apparently doesn't think it is anymore. We don't need it, right? Bill Gates, the technocrat, the doctor, the scientist, the satanic psychopath on a god complex, he knows better than the whole history of mankind when it comes to what we put on our dinner tables, what we consume, what we're allowed to consume, that is. Bill just knows better. On almost a comical level here, this article from the Express UK. Blood clotting is a normal response to injury. Sometimes, however, it can lead to cramps, pain, and swelling. And if it enters the circulatory system, it can be fatal. In a small study, wonder who funded that study, one popular breakfast food has been linked to the condition. And again, you're seeing this, a lot of people out there have seen these articles. Anything at this point can cause a heart attack, right? And so there's this acclamation, it seems, through the media right now, making things more and more acceptable. The possibility that anybody and everybody at this point can have a heart attack. Perfectly healthy athletes. I wonder if, I wonder if DeMar Hamlin had an egg that morning before the game, right? Should be looked into. And so it goes into choline, I guess, is the sometimes sold over-the-counter dietary supplements. It's one of the clotting factors in eggs that they found. Well, you know what? And I know this from personal experience. Someone in our family has been impacted with dementia. And one of the problems with dementia patients is they don't have enough choline. So you get a supplement. There's actually a lab-made big pharma version of choline that they give to people suffering from dementia. Well, according to this article, choline's bad. I guess I don't know what's better. Should we have a blood clotting problem, or should we get dementia later on in life? I don't know what's the problem. I don't know what's worse, right? At this point, there's always something bad. No matter what we do, no matter what we eat, might as well just starve ourselves to death at this point, right? That'd save the earth, according to some out there. But yeah. So yeah, again, Bill Gates just has this uncanny ability to foresee the future, and I think it has something to do with his influence, where he throws his money, into whose pockets, he slips a few million here and there. Support the cause, after all, right? It's a worthy cause to save the earth, save the world, save mankind. And as I stated earlier, Bill isn't just concerned about chicken eggs. He's also concerned about your ovaries.
One issue that really grabbed me as urgent were issues related to population, reproductive health.
But did you come to reproductive issues as an intellectual?
When I was growing up, my parents were always involved in various volunteer things. My dad was head of Planned Parenthood, and it was very controversial to be involved with that.
This article from National Post way back in 2014. Bill Gates funds birth control microchip that lasts 16 years inside the body and can be turned on or off with a remote control. Sure, that could never be hacked, right? And so that's what it looks like. There's Bill's little population control microchip. That's right. And I guess it has, they say, give me a second. Birth control microchip funded by Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation would hold nearly 2 decades worth of a hormone commonly used in contraceptives and dispense 30 micrograms a day, according to a report from the MIT Technology Review. So it just makes me wonder, somebody who's so concerned about population reduction, why they're also so at the same time obsessed with how healthy our food source is. Reasonable question, isn't it? And from this article, from lifenews.com, Bill Gates spent $18 million pushing population control on Africa. This is from 2018. One of the world's richest men spends considerable amounts of money pushing population control on women in Africa. Bill Gates and his wife Melinda donated $18 million to family planning programs through the United Nations Population Fund. Their foundation made the announcement during an international family planning conference in Rwanda. Bill Gates has a long history of pushing birth control on some of the world's poorest countries, while their people cry for clean water, food, basic health care. Though Bill Gates and his family says the money does not go to abortions, it gives money to some of the largest abortion companies in the world, including the International Planned Parenthood Federation and Mary Stopes International. The Gates Foundation and other population control groups have made a goal of expanding birth control throughout the world by 2020. At the conference, leaders said they have been falling short of that goal. Bummer. The report continues. According to FP 2020, an estimated 317 million women and girls in the world's poorest countries are now using a modern form of contraception, 46 million more than 2012. However, in its report published this week, it admitted the figures were way short of its target to reach an extra 120 million women in 69 target countries by 2020. And in an interview last month, Gates did not hesitate to say population control is their goal. His foundation recently released a new report about its work towards ending poverty and fighting inequality. According to the news outlet, the report suggests measures to shift Africans towards wanted births or fewer early births as a means to reduce population growth in Africa. Gates said that they are working toward that goal by increasing access to contraception. Quote, "The biggest thing is the modern tools of contraception," he said. "There are implants, injections, IUD, and obviously, if you have those things available, then people are more in control of being able to space their children." Space their children. So if only Bill Gates and his friends over there at the WHO could convince enough of the population to willingly line up for his egg reduction program. And so there's just a few examples of this apparent dichotomy of Bill Gates. On one hand, he is super concerned with the health of the planet, aka reducing as much of the human population as possible. And on the other hand, he's super concerned with what we all consume. He's all concerned about our diets, keeping those cholesterol levels real low, right? Super concerned about our overall health. Yeah, that's a strange paradigm there, Bill. Not too sure if I'm buying it. But Bill knows better, right? Bill knows better. He knows better than the God who created everything. In Bill's mind, Bill is God, I believe. He is seriously that delusional. He's a satanic psychopath, hell-bent on imposing his devilish design on all of creation, tampering with the very genetic code of all life forms on this planet. And ultimately, it's all about control, isn't it, Bill? It's all about control. Hey, Bill, when all the dust settles from all the dirty deeds you've done, I hope you don't get any egg on your face.
Gates was momentarily and understandably shaken, but he was not injured.
The percentage that's really misled by these conspiracy theories, it's unclear to me. There's millions of messages out there, where my name or Dr. Fauci's name is used, but do people really believe that stuff? We're going to have to get educated about this over the next year and understand, how does it change people's behavior? How should we have minimized this, either, working with the social media companies or explaining what we were up to in a better way?